Namaste, Galactic family, and welcome back to my channel, Indigo Angel. Come on into this dimension, guys. Be sure to subscribe, hit that notifications bell, like, comment, and share this video, as today I have a special guest. This is drrose.honor, and I want to say it's such an honor to have Dr. Rose Honor here on the channel today. So thank you so much for being here. And how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. It's an honor to be on your show, Indigo. Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity to share and educate your audience. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. After having the conversation that we had the other day and just hearing so much of your deep insight with all of the work that you do, I just knew that it would be so amazing and helpful and fundamental to have you on the show and to discuss a lot of the issues of some of the things you've been seeing medically and spiritually, all of the observations you've been having regarding all of the debilitating side effects to those who have taken the cure is what we were referring to it as. So I also just wanted to put a quick disclaimer on this video today that me and Dr. Rose, due to the nature of this video today, we're going to be using encoded linguistics as much as possible. So you will need to decode the video to understand it. Also, particular areas of the video, you may need to, we're going to be editing it. So you can find the fully uncensored version on my website, and that's at indigoangel222.com. And also, I'll probably be sending it out in a newsletter as well. So be sure to sign up for my newsletters at indigoangel222.com. So Dr. Rose, also, I'm going to highlight your website as well. Her healing website is healingenergy.com. And so I'll bring that up a little bit later in the video, and we'll kind of go over some of your website and the things that you offer and all of that. But why don't you start by telling us a little bit about your healing practices, what it is that you do, and kind of just give us an idea of your bio, basically.
Yeah, so my bio is pretty much when I was growing up, I'm from New York, and I just recall being sick all the time. I just remembered being on, it's all on my website, but being on the subway all the time. I just remember someone just sneezing or whatever was going around. I would just catch everything under the sun. So I suppose I had a very suppressed immune system. And then every time I went to my Western allopathic doctor, he would prescribe antibiotics or, Western medication, which didn't really treat the root cause. And then I had a host of symptoms follow after that, like antibiotics, you take an excessive amount, you can develop leaky gut, develop funguses, yeast infection. So I had all the symptoms and side effects of using these medications, and they were overprescribed. I mean, I remember being on antibiotics for it was erythromycin for about 6 months. So I knew there had to be a better way, and I did my own research. And I just remember walking into the vitamin shop in Manhattan. My friend took me there because she saw I was sick constantly. And I talked to the kid at the counter. He must have been like 20 years old. And I got more guidance and information on nutrition and supplements than my Western doctor. So I thought, what is wrong with this picture? So then I really went down the rabbit hole and learned about how does your body work? You're not taught really in school. I think I had one nutrition course in high school, and that was it. I know there was anatomy and physiology and biology, but really not understanding how to use nutrition supplements, how to eat, what foods you should be eating. So I really went down that rabbit hole, and I'm so glad I did. And as a result, I wanted to help other people. So after working in corporate America, I was a programmer. I already had a bachelor's in, I guess it was business management. I decided to go back to school and get my master's in herbology, nutrition, and I'm an acupuncture physician. And I really do want to help people, and everything I've learned along the way has helped me with all my patients. So, I mean, I'm the best guinea pig because I tried everything. I really did. Did this work? And I used to have hundreds of dollars of supplements in my cabinets. And then my husband would say, why is there so much? Why do you have so many supplements in your cabinet? Because I was seeking. And then I learned muscle testing, applied kinesiology. Then I learned, as you could see in my bio, I learned so many different modalities to get myself well. And now I apply it currently to my patients right now.
Yeah. So this is your website here. And I just wanted to clarify earlier. So I said healingenerchi.com, right? It's henerchi.com.
Yeah, it's a play on words. Instead of healing energy, it's energy. Because qi is, in Chinese medicine, qi is just energy or vital life force. So exactly. And I don't have to do needles if you're squeamish. And I also treat children, a lot of autistic children, and they do not require needles at all. So a lot of energy work for them.
So this is pretty amazing here. So if someone wants to read about all of the services and treatments that you offer for acupuncture, and what are all of the healing modalities that it is that you do?
All right. So let's see. Obviously, acupuncture and nutritional guidance and supplementation, detoxification, whether I use herbs, supplements, or recommend an infrared sauna or ionic foot bath. I don't use the acrograph as much, but eat and energy medicine. Yeah, if you want to go down the list, nutritional consultations, applied kinesiology, NAET, allergy clearings, energy medicine, NET, theta healing. Don't do that as much, not necessary. Genius biofeedback. And I can go into each one of them if you want, or if whatever it is you want, Indy. It's so
yeah,
good.
Sure. Well, I think let's go into more of that, because I mean, there are so many healing modalities that you do that I don't think that people have ever heard of. And so I think that's what's so amazing about talking to you today, is that you can explain this to folks and let them know, like, hey, there's all these other types of healing options. What I do specifically, it's more kind of really down the spiritual wormhole with doing, the chakra clearings, but also doing the J seal removals and things like that. But what you're doing, you're working really firsthand with people, especially a lot of people who are still kind of going in and out of the matrix, so to speak. So your observation, your expertise, and the things that you have, witnessed and observed, I really would like to hear more about that today, with what you've seen, what is going on with those that are maybe having buyer's remorse, so to speak, with the elixir, with the cure, with the Jim Jones juice is what we like to call it here on my channel.
Yes. So what I've noticed is that I think there's buyer's remorse, and yes, there's cognitive dissonance at the same time, and unawareness. So let's see. I'll just give you some examples of some buyer's remorse. So this is a prospective patient that's going to be coming in. I'm seeing the whole family, which is amazing. I've already seen the sister, the other sister, and I'm going to see the brothers. So this man has Parkinson's and was actually under control with his Western medications. And then he got the juice, the elixir. And then shortly thereafter, I think it was only within a day or two, all his symptoms came back. And then they tried to double the dose of the medication to control his Parkinson's, and it did not work this time. So I'm going to be seeing him next week. So that's a very good example. And here's one who's, this person is unaware. They're in the military, and I find a lot of the people in the military, there's no other word, but they've been brainwashed in a way. So their doctors, Western doctor, he did get the cure. And then shortly thereafter, I think it was within a day or two, he had these symptoms, and it was they couldn't put their finger on it. There were no conclusive tests. Everything was negative, but they suspected it could have been a heart attack. But then they just said, no, it's just stress. And then he thought, yeah, it's just stress. But when I listened to his symptoms, it sounded like a heart attack or myocardial infarction symptoms. And I tried to let him know of what I've been seeing. And it's funny, I said some things about what I'm noticing with the symptoms of the cure, and his chiropractor is noticing the same thing. And he really dismissed it, like went into severe cognitive dissonance, and I don't want to talk about it. Don't go there. And so I had to just say, okay, let's just do a stress treatment, even though and this is really funny. So I have this supplement I use. It's a kind of a fulvic acid, which is amazing for helping people with the cure, who got the cure. And I use it homeopathically, where like cures like. So I put this in a vial, this supplement, and he came in one day and he had some kind of, they thought it was bursitis or something with his heel pain. And I did an energy clearing using this supplement as a homeopath, which is for people who got the cure. And shortly thereafter, his pain was gone in his heel. And he's like, wow, what was that? Like, oh, I just did acupuncture. It's like, he didn't want to go into it because he doesn't believe it of what I'm telling him. So I don't want to upset him if he's really been brainwashed, through the military. So, but I knew it worked. And then I'm noticing people who have not had the cure, but her in-laws had the cure, and they stayed and visited for about a week. And they were, I know I can't say this word, so they were releasing whatever they got cured with. I can't say the S word.
It's a form of, I guess,
a shed.
Yeah.
and then put ing at the end.
Yes.
So, okay, so they won't pick that up. So I noticed that her in-laws had a shed. So I used my same protocol with using it as homeopathy with this fulvic acid, and she had severe pain, and her periods went all wonky. And she didn't even get the cure. Her periods, her hormones were just like off, and she's prone to that. She was in, I called maintenance mode, and she was doing really well. And then her in-laws brought a shed over. So then her hormones went wherever they went. So then I used that supplement on her, and the pain was gone like within 24 hours. And then she got pregnant. And it's amazing. And now she's taking this fulvic acid supplement, which I highly recommend. And I could give you the link later on. And she's fine. I think she's like 3 or 4 months pregnant. So she's just taking that supplement, and she's good. She's pain-free. She's had, it's amazing. So there's hope for people who got the cure.
So you have a supplement that you know of that is, it detoxifies the toxins basically from the cure.
Yes.
And so everything we speak of today, guys, too, we will definitely leave links down in the description for you today. So be sure to check the description, because we'll have a bunch of goodies there for you guys. But I kind of want to go back to what you were touching on with pregnancy. So have you seen any pregnant patients, or what have you been observing collectively when it comes to those that maybe have taken the cure and who've become pregnant? Maybe some of your concerns for the future with that, and then also maybe those who are absorbing some of the SHEDDING that would be carrying with child, and maybe how this is affecting people, how people should go about detoxifying for those particular situations.
Well, pregnancy or no pregnancy, everyone needs to do a detox, heavy metal chemical detox, using this protocol, strengthening their immune system. Because what I'm finding is that it hits you at whatever your Achilles heel, your weakest link, it's going to hit you. That's why it's so insidious what is happening. Because if you're prone to, again, the person with Parkinson's, you're prone to having that, it will come back. A patient who she was a runner. She's still a runner, and she had a lot of immense pain in her hamstrings and her heels. And she got the cure with plus a boost, and all her symptoms came back worse than ever. And I'm helping her detox with that supplement. And so it's not just one particular ailment. It's whatever your weakest link is, it will come back raging. Every person that's come back to me who was on maintenance, I hadn't seen them in a while, and then they just come back and say, my symptoms came back much worse. And then I just asked them, did you get the cure? And they said, oh, yes. And then they realized, oh, but then one person, she's prone to IBS. She got the cure, and her doctor told her that after she got the cure and she was in remission, her doctor said, oh, no, you're okay. Thank goodness you got the cure. Otherwise, you could have died from not getting the cure. And she believed it as well because she really trusted her doctor.
Yeah.
Many people are really trusting their doctors. That's the sad thing, is that they're not there for your greatest and highest good. Not what I can see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as we all know, this is a much greater agenda that's coming down from a monopoly of organizations and corporations, and where the original whole thing went down, back in 2019. I think there's been an agenda that's continued to be implemented, and I think that's actually coming full circle at this time with some of the things we're seeing playing out. That was something that I wanted to kind of briefly touch on with you, was maybe some of the global agendas of what this is and what this might mean, especially with what we're seeing with the World Death Culture and the World Death Organization, or sometimes I like to call it the World Hypnotizing Organization, where we have Waldo at the head, which I really think ultimately represents China. And I think there's a lot coming up in the news lately, and I think people should be sharing out to other people what's actually happening with the United States health at this time, and that it's actually being handed over to the World Hypnotizing Organization. So we kind of briefly spoke about this at the beginning, but I think it's really, really important to briefly address, because it's basically going to, how it works is that whenever the World Hypnotizing Organization believes that there is some sort of insidious parasite or some insidious bug that is about to run its global course. And we have a lot of codes coming up with that. We have the 12 monkey code. We have the Marburg. I believe that's one of them. I'm not even sure if I pronounced that right, but there's other things that are being very deceptive at this time. And so how it works is that the World Hypnotizing Organization, they're basically going to be the ones that get to sound off the emergency alerts or the emergency concerns without having respect to the sovereignty of countries. And so that's basically happening right now. They're essentially trying to implement triggering this emergency protocol to be the overseers and authority of the health in the United States. And so it's kind of a big deal, because it was supposed to be that the president is supposed to declare these national emergencies. So Trump started that, then Biden renewed it, and Congress by law is supposed to renew it every 6 months. But I think what's happening is that Congress has failed to deal with it. And so because we're living in this lazy, lawless era, I mean, our legal system is truly falling apart. It really is. I see it all the time. It's becoming more and more. And here's the thing, that opens up a whole nother can of worms in the terms of the argument of governments, and if this is needed in a falling system, a failing system, all of these things, right? Like, that's a whole other topic of conversation. But I think a lot of things are falling apart at the seams. I think it's becoming more lazy and more lawless. And they just really, at the end of the day, I think they want to hand over our Willy Wonka to China because of Waldo's participation with Ethiopia. Ethiopia comes into this because Ethiopia is basically ran now by China. And Waldo's, so there's all of these alliances, all of these allegiances that are working very covertly and very undercover on a galactic and an intergalactic level. I've spoke about the Stargates of Aden over in Aden, and off of the coast of Ethiopia. It has a lot to do with the Ark of the Covenant, but it has a lot to do with these stargates, the Orion stargates, the Royal Nibirian stargates. This is where all of the warfare is essentially taking place in terms of Orion warfare, where the battle and the physicality actually manifests itself. And so it's this connection from the World Hypnotizing Agency to Waldo to what the US is now handing over their health authority to, and his connections down to Ethiopia and ultimately to which is considered Little China now, and ultimately to China. So it's this, and that's why I'm saying I think we're coming full circle with what this agenda ultimately was in the first place.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I didn't know the extent to that in Ethiopia. What? It's like really rabbit hole right now. That's crazy.
I know, I just rabbit holed it, but it's just because it's so current and it's so relative to everything that we're talking about, from taking care of our health to the symptoms to everything that everybody's decoded. I mean, like if you get on some of these sites and really kind of dig into it, I mean, you can get into like what's actually happening chemically, biologically, you know, and a lot of us are well studied in a lot of that, but it's not kind of, we can't really go into that verbally here on YouTube. But I mean, it's a lot. It really is a lot.
It is. You know what I saw something yesterday. It's called Bloomberg News from the Hill TV on YouTube. And this is pretty interesting that there is some truth coming out. I forgot the name of the reporter, but this is pretty interesting. All I can do is show you this and see if the audience can see. Can you see that? Can you read that? So it's actually saying that if you get too many of these boosts, you're going to have pretty much, if you have this boost every 4 months, it could eventually weaken your immune system, and also people will be tired out. This is according to the European Medicines Agencies. So that's interesting. That's truth coming out in other countries. And then this is from the New York Times, which is, let me show you this thing here. And I'll read a little bit of this blurb. And Israel approves, well, they approved the 4th dosage. But then there's a blurb here about weighing the potential benefits of another boost against the risk. Some scientists, including a few on the Israeli advisory panel, have voiced concerns that too many of these Jim Jones elixirs might cause a sort of immune system fatigue, compromising the body's ability to fight the V, particularly among older people. So there is some truth coming out, and this is really interesting. So this is a chart. This is Walgreens. So Walgreens actually keeps very good data on. Isn't that interesting? Walgreens of all places. I know, that's like, I'm flabbergasted. And it's a little chart. It goes into the positivity rates of getting the thing based on if you got the cure or not. And if you look at this one bar is quite interesting. Look at the people who didn't get the cure, that says 21%. And then there's people who got 2 doses within a 5-month period. Look at the numbers, they're equal. You see that? So why do you need to get the cure? What are your chances? Why are there more people who are getting the cure having more incidences of testing for the sickness? Why is that? And why are people not getting the cure, developing herd immunity, have super duper strong immune systems, not getting the illness? Why is that? That's interesting. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of factors playing out. I think it was calculated in the sense that there are particular genetics that were targeted for the
yes,
we don't even have a word for it. The super parasite. I think there's so many agendas. One is to target, particular collectives, and continue to weaken the indigo tribes, continue to weaken the empaths, continue to weaken the starseeds. It's more and more attack on those who carry the 12-strand DNA within themselves to continue to weaken this population. Like, as you mentioned before, the Georgia Guidestones, all of that is inscribed to basically define that agenda, which is misled by taking us into the age of reason. What is the age of reason ultimately? So that they have a reason. So now we just gave reason for what we choose to execute in terms of their agenda. And I think a lot of these dark things in this age are being done in the light at this time. So everyone sees it. Everything is very exposed because everything now has to be done in the light. So there is no shame in their game. Things are just being done blatantly out in front of you. And the information, the intel, the truth, the facts don't really matter because there's some sort of shield that's come across people that they're blind, even though things are being done in front of their face. It's very strange. It's a very strange time.
I noticed, I think they're under a spell. That's what I rationalize it to, because the truth is right in front of them. And when I've done this with my relatives and, I'm trying to red pill them and my husband's relatives, and you tell them the truth, they go into severe cognitive dissonance because they got the cure. So then they don't want to be wrong. And then they can't hear you, even though you're showing them the truth and it's obvious. I mean, I love JP's series, how his latest one is he's got such great things out there where he shows it to you in sarcasm, but he's showing it to you and people still don't get it. I think they're under a spell, or they've been, yeah, MK, you know what? I think so. Or their pineal gland is so calcified that they don't have discernment or reasoning, and they don't have discernment, and their guts, leaky gut is happening a lot. So the gut and the brain are connected, and if your gut is compromised from overuse of antibiotics or whatever medications you're on, then you're drinking fluoridated water, so then your pineal gland is calcified, then you can't really think for yourself, and then you're not connected to your higher self or true source or the creator, then you just listen to mainstream media and you follow that, and you're only told what to do. You don't have any of your own intuition, and you don't have sovereignty. So
I think that's a good place to kind of extend off of. So maybe you can go into more about how one can detoxify. Like, how do we go about detoxifying? What are the steps to detoxify yourself so that way you can detoxify your pineal and also heal your gut? Because it seems like healing your gut is really, really, really difficult to do. I know a lot of people that really struggle with that. And I know it's different for everybody. Everyone has a different ailment. So it's like a different regimen. But what do you think overall for healing the gut?
Well, basically, you have to stop the medications first off, if you can, because that's going to create the permeability in your small intestine, those little holes where things should not be passing through. These large molecules of food should not pass through your blood, but they are, and then you develop that histamine reaction or allergic reaction. So you've got to plug up your holes in your gut first off and stop the offending medications that are sabotaging you. And that there's a few supplements out there. I mean, off the top of my head, which you can just get it at your local health food store. Intestinu is one. I mean, you can even get it on Amazon. It's from Renew Life Wellness. It's a great supplement. It has marshmallow root. It has, I think, glutamine. It has a bunch of things to just seal your gut up. That's just one thing. Also, there's the aloe vera. Aloe vera is amazing to also heal your gut. And also, it's amazing. It's antibacterial, anti-pathogenic. So many uses for that. It's really soothing for your gut, for your stomach. Also, because we are bombarded right now in this age of what are we breathing in the air we breathe, chemtrails, heavy metals, chemical toxicity. The medications are really a big button for me. When I typed up my report of findings for people, and I noticed it's interesting, all the ailments you're coming in to see me for, it looks like all the side effects from your medications exhibit those symptoms. Like if you have a lot of numbness, neuropathy, or pain, and then you're taking a particular supplement, it's, whether it's a blood pressure medication or a statin drug, well, there you go. There's your side effects. So you have to slowly wean off of your meds, or what I tell people is what did grandma do back in the 1800s? Mother Earth was healing herbs. You pick fruit from the tree. I mean, hopefully at that time there was nothing, no GMO food. They didn't spray pesticides and herbicides, in your food. All of these things are compromising your gut, really, and your DNA as well. So it's like we're being attacked from all. It's like,
yeah, we are.
Where they're trying to kill us. And the water you drink, the food you eat, the meds you take, everything you can imagine. I just call going to the hospitals, like going, I hope you come out alive if you go into a hospital. It's so sad to say that now. So you have to really boost your immune system also. I mean, the basics, vitamin C, vitamin D3, vitamin E, zinc, so many things to boost your immune system. And all of this is when I do a report of findings for my patient, it's all there. I lay that all there. Like, I do a real brain dump with all your ailments, everything. If I were you, I would do this, I would do this. It's just like my over 15 years of just, doing this. So there's so much out there, but you have to start slow also, and you have to know where to start, because there is a lot of information out there and misinformation as well. So that's why I use muscle testing, applied kinesiology, to see what is the priority, what is needed at this time. Do you need to do a detox first? Do you need to just take magnesium? I mean, there's so many ways to go about it. I could go on and on, but
yeah, no, I mean, it's important to go on and on about it, because I feel like there's someone listening at every single different part of their journey that's like, oh, that might help, or, oh, that's kind of where I'm at, or, and the more that comes out, it's like, okay, yeah, that's helpful. I think one thing that I've noticed, it's like one's own self courage, like their own motivation, like they have to be motivated to eliminate everything that's contributing to their poor health. Yes. And that in itself is the hardest thing about it, is because you have to get on your own ass, so to speak, and like start nipping those bad habits in the butt. You have to be willing to make these like huge changes that you have to make. Like, it's not as easy to go and get organic food and have to prepare that for yourself every day. It takes time, it takes effort, it's easier. Oh, I can just run to the fast food place, or, like that's the American mindset. And it's so hard to like have to start breaking those habits down one by one, because as you get older, or what I've found as I've gotten older, like that just becomes so much more imperative, because you see how your physical body, it's your vessel that houses your spirit. But like, if we don't take care of this physical vessel, I mean, it does break down over time, and by abusing it constantly, abuse. And that some of those things that go haywire in your body, like just from using or eating fast food or drinking or smoking for all of this time, once that goes bad, well, now guess what? You have 10 years of repairing that. You have to completely stop everything you're doing and spend the next 10 years working on just repairing that, because that's how bad you messed it up. You know what I mean?
Yes. Oh my God, exactly. That's exactly what happens. And people come in and they want a quick fix, which is the American mindset, or allopathic medicine is quick fix. There's a pill for every ill. That's how we've been trained here in America. And it's sad, but it takes quite a bit of time of detox. Yes. If you smoked for many years, or you ate junk food or fast food for many years, it is not going to be overnight. It's sometimes, I always say this, I heard this from another holistic doctor, for every year you've had some ailment, it could take up to 1 month to resolve or detoxify from it. So you've got to undo all the medications. I mean, I did this with my husband. We detoxed his liver because he was on meds forever. He had gout. Then he was on Indocin forever and allopurinol forever. And so we were detoxing from that because that really hurts your liver.
Yeah.
And all the symptoms from these medications are just hard. And they just add another layer of complexity to the onion. Like I always use the analogy, like say you're this onion and you come in to see me. So you want me to resolve, say, weight loss. That's a big thing. But I have to go in, that might be 4 layers deep. The first layer might be, you maybe you had a leaky gut from antibiotics from childhood. We have to heal that first. Then you can absorb and utilize your food, and then maybe the weight will come off. What if you had constipation for like 10 years and you expect to lose weight? You can't, because you have to get the elimination channels going. You got to pee, poop, whatever it is. So there's so many things you have to know. What is the priority? And then I use NAT, muscle testing, to clear allergies. I mean, there's so many things that I'm doing to help resolve and find out what's the priority. What's the first layer of your onion? If you want to lose weight, or if you want to have this, or this, it's just so many layers deep. But I go and find the first one first, because some people take all these supplements at once, and it's great. It should help, but it's not the right sequence in the order you should be doing it. That's why the muscle testing that I do, or dowsing with the pendulum, which I do quite a bit, is really powerful, because then you can ask, yourself, okay, what's my priority? And then wait, are your chakras balanced? If your chakras aren't balanced, you're going to get wonky answers. Are you grounded? If you're not grounded, you're going to get weird answers too. And then as a healer, I have to ground myself, go hug a tree, make sure I'm grounded, my chakras are balanced, and spinning, then I can help heal others. So
yeah.
Yeah.
There really is so many spiritual components to this. It's not only just your physical body, it's like also your relationships. Like when we say you have to detoxify, and this is kind of the first step, nourishing yourself and then detoxifying is kind of the first step. You have to look at your relationships. Like, do you have toxic relationships? Do you have, a toxic job? I mean, all of this aligns to your spirit. And I think as we ascend more, as we become more spiritually embodied, as our soul ascends fully, if we're not in alignment to those things that are fully in alignment to our soul, our health, our growth, what is 5D frequency? Because that's what you're constantly stretching yourself to become. You're going to keep getting that resistance. You're going to keep getting that lesson, so to speak, over and over and over, until you start listening to what your soul is telling you to do, until you start detoxifying toxic relationships, because that in itself is also adding toxicity in the body.
Oh my goodness. So I have these patients who've developed cancer, and the first thing I find out if they're ready to resolve it is that there's an emotional component. The majority of your physical ailments are due to emotions. And also I have this, it's called the 12 bodies. There's trauma, and I call it the 12 bodies, but I use this chart sometimes, and it can hit your auric layer, auric field. So there's the trauma body, the fear body, the etheric body. You could go on about this. So I also test and ask, are these this lifetime, or is it a past lifetime? Is it fear?
Yes.
Empathic. And then I have a lot of female patients who've developed breast cancer, and I asked them, when did it develop? And it seems to correlate between a divorce, someone cheated on them. I mean, they had to move, and then whatever it was, or they were abused. I have so many patients who were abused.
Yes.
A lot of, on every way you could imagine. And they were so traumatized, and they never really acknowledged that trauma. And then it just keeps going on and on. I had a patient, he's a chiropractor, and this is so interesting. So he developed allergies as a little boy, and he told me, it finally clicked when he told me the last treatment. He said, he had to witness his parents arguing, and from then on, he didn't like being witnessing anyone in conflict and arguments. Just really triggered him. And then every time he would see that, he would have acid reflux, and asthma and allergies would just start developing, and breathing issues, and he had to use his inhaler. And then it happened 2 years ago. He's in Texas, and then it happened again here. So I was doing classic NAT allergy clearings on him, and I was getting decent results, but still it wasn't amazing results. Then I addressed it finally using NET, neuroemotional technique. And I went and I muscle tested. Okay, what age was it? Okay, it was his age. Okay, who did it involve? Was it someone you love, someone who loves you? Is it the concept of you? Is it money, job, finances, career? So I go through the whole asking questions with NET, and then I find out where it stemmed from. So when I cleared that emotional trauma from childhood, when he was doing adjustments last week, and he thought, oh, he was witnessing something. I forgot what it was, a conflict or an argument, and he was like ready to take out his inhaler. It's like, oh my God, I'm okay. Like I don't have breathing on my acid. And it was because I cleared that trauma from 6 years old. And he's like, Doc, can you do that again? I'm like, I said, yeah, but it's not your priority. I have to do something else. I have to clear, minerals or something. But he was so flabbergasted, and that's what NET does. So it's always emotional. It always is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Trauma.
I think that's how we develop our coping mechanisms in the first place, leading us through our teenage years into adulthood, is those childhood traumas. Everything comes back to that soul fragmentation in the root chakra. Yeah, that's a lot that I see too when I'm doing chakra clearings. It's always, and some people have done the work and they don't need to go into it as much, but other people, it's buried deep in the subconscious and in the unconscious, and it takes a lot of digging through the chakras. And what's amazing doing chakra work is you can get to all of these things through your chakras. I mean, but you got to be working with the entirety of your chakra system, the 12th dimensional chakra system. That's what takes you more into the Akash, takes you more able to regress, going into past lives and previous timelines or civilizational seedings that you may have taken. And for some people, we do have to go that far. You do have to go all the way back into the Dark Ages, into the medieval times, into Atlantis, or even going back to Lemuria. Most females who carry those motherhood wounds or reproduction issues, there's so much that goes back from the Lemurian timeline, from the first genocidal attacks and all of these things. So it's depending on how much one is attuned to their Akashic field and their Akashic memory and their Akashic history. Sometimes it takes waking that up, even through multiple sessions, to regress deeper into it.
Wow.
And so,
what you brought, when you brought Atlantis, this is a really great book. It's so she does the work of Dolores Cannon, QHHT. So it's a hypnotist journey to Atlantis. And so we've all been here before. And in fact, I think when you did my reading and cleared my J seals, I think you said I was in that time of Lemuria and Atlantis, right? Indy, I believe.
Yeah.
So, well, this is really interesting. It's going to blow your mind, because I don't think you've seen this. I know when you had your last, I think I watched your last show, and you talked about Atlantis and the crystals, right? I was watching that.
The crystal generators, yeah.
Yes, and that's when it all kicked off. But this is so, just look at this and just look at just read that in that chapter.
Wow.
So that's why, do you know that we're reliving it, Indy? We're reliving this. I was going to read from this, but it's way too much info. Yeah. I didn't want to go on, but they did a past life regression that using the Dolores Cannon QHHT. In this book, she talks about it's a repeat, and then the births would happen with these children. Like, I don't know if they had like 3 arms or whatever, but this just happened then. And
like there's like mutations from, so back in Atlantis, in this book, they're saying they were also doing cures in Atlantis. Okay.
Yes, that's what exactly. In a nutshell, we're living it. They even had a quarantine. It's like you're reading like this is almost like if you just put this in replaced with in Atlantis today in you know, in the United States. That's all you have. It's a repeat.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that would make sense why all of that was coming up over the last couple of days about all of the artificial technology that was used in Atlantis. It's such an extensive artificial network of crystal technology that is encoded to particular agendas, those death screens, like we were just talking about, how there's this, filter where people can't see. And it all has to do with that artificial crystal technology. It's a vast, vast network that was placed here. And I think the misconception is people think that that was blown up because there's this story of the generators that were blown up. But really, there's this vast, extensive artificial crystal technology that's still here, still functioning. Still suppressing humanity. Yeah.
And we thought they blew it up because they had said that. And I remember them talk, right? But that's amazing that they hit it, or so it's still running. This program is still running.
Absolutely.
Do you anticipate it ever being shut down?
That's a good question. I feel like it's all running on a timeline, so to speak, that it's to run its course, because I feel like where it originally came from is through these black hole systems. It's coming through black hole system, shadow realms, phantom realms, and how these non-human invaders are coming through these black hole systems, coming in to hybridize with particular genetics here on this earth, and then use that effort to seed that technology here. And so I think it's writing timelines according to black hole collapses. That's my ultimate guess upon it. Also, the potential that events can happen that can radically shift the consciousness of the globe as well, such as solar flare events, potential genesis events like the 3 days of light. I've been talking about that extensively. Mm-hmm. And also a potential blackout. I've been getting a lot of message of a potential blackout as well. Wow. But just, eclipses raise the consciousness, world events that raise the consciousness, all of these things. But everything ultimately has to be redesigned and reconstructed from the inside out. And so it's one thing for us all to be doing this work, which we are doing, but I think it needs to be happening on a much greater scale. It has to be happening according to the Willy Wonkas and according to this very vast network of control that is implemented. And that's why I feel like we can't ever get to the root of it, is because how zigzaggy that webbing network is, that goes back to, like, you didn't even know, we just went down that wormhole of going from the US handing over our emergency health protocols to the World Hypnotizing Organization, and not realizing how extensive that network goes to back to Ethiopia through these different organizations that ultimately go back to China. So, I mean, this is why we can't get like a hold on things ultimately, because how is one to come together in massive assembly to understand the vast designs of that? There's so many opinions, so many perspectives, so much resistance, agendas, levels of intellect that get in the way. A lot of people can't even just genuinely understand it.
I know. What I was thinking is that what's different between now and Atlantis time is that now I feel we have more awoken people, more light workers. We came back for a reason, all of us, you and I. And I feel at the time of Atlantis, I feel like there were not enough of us awoken, but I feel there's going to be a big shift. And if we have more light workers and we're changing, the 100 monkey effect, we are changing the collective consciousness of this planet, of this earth. And I feel like more and more of us woken up, we can change this timeline. That's what Hey
guys, so thank you so much for tuning in to this part of the video where I wanted to be able to just highlight some super amazing, all natural, all organic cleaning products and all natural healing products that I feel are super beneficial to starseeds, empaths, indigos, anybody going through ascension processes, it's really good for you to cut chemicals out of your regimen, not only with the foods you eat, but also with the things and the items that you use in your home, like your shampoo, your conditioner, your soaps. It's good to dechemicalize everything from the things you use personally on your body all the way to the cleaners that you use in your home. And so that's why I really believe in the products that I have sitting in front of me right now. Everything you see here, you can get at McAlloyProducts.com, and with the coupon code that I have, Indigo Angel, all lowercase, all one word, you can go in and you can get 10% off anything and everything off the website. So it's a really amazing deal, considering that laundry soap for 30 loads is only $12.95. And what's even more about this amazing about this company is that you can just get reorders or reorder refills. So you don't have to actually throw your containers away and throw them in landfills. They just send you the refills, so that way you can order and restock without having to go through container after container after container. So what they offer at McAlloyProducts.com, they offer an abundance of products, but what I'm highlighting here today is simply just the laundry detergent, which I've absolutely loved and have used for the last year. It has remarkable stain remover power. It is concentrated, so you don't have to use a lot, and it doesn't have any fillers or any it's not diluted like other liquid detergents and things like that. So this right here is safe for the earth. It's good for the environment. Everything is organic and natural, like I said, and it's made from a company here in the US. So if you are in the United States and you want to support the small businesses here in the US, this is a great company to get your cleaning products from. They also have this amazing industrial cleaner. So it's like it's like an all-purpose general cleaner that you can use basically on anything in your house. Like I said, no chemicals, guys. So this is not going to aggravate your ascension symptoms. This is not going to make you feel sick. This is not going to make you feel like you're polluting your sanctuary. Okay, your home is your sanctuary, and you don't want to feel like you're bringing toxic chemicals into this space. This has to be the most peaceful environment and the most safest environment that you can create for yourself. So use all natural organic cleaners. What I absolutely love about this all-purpose cleaner is you can add essential oils. So your organic essential oils, you can add it to this product, and you can fill your space while you clean with your amazing natural essential oils that you like to use, and it helps lift the energy in the home. It's absolutely amazing. I love these two products. Also, another amazing thing that they have is MSM gel. If anybody has heard of MSM gel. So MSM, what it is they use it for a natural solution for pain. So if you have any sort of arthritis, if you have any leg cramps, if you have injuries that haven't healed and you get sporadic pain from those injuries and things like that, you can apply this MSM gel, and it, for about a good 20 minutes, it alleviates and it relieves any sort of pain that you're feeling. I absolutely love this because I have had a hand injury on my right hand for the last 14 years that just never healed itself fully. And so when I get that arthritic pain, I apply the MSM gel to my hand, and it feels so much better, you guys. I'm telling you, this stuff really, really, truly works. And what's amazing about it is it's all natural pain reliever. You don't have to take any pill. You don't have to take anything. Just apply it to the spot. And it essentially is gluten-free, allergen-free. It's basically a vegan product. And it really, really works. It's very fast acting, and it penetrates the skin and the joints immediately, and you immediately start the healing process when you use this MSM gel. And MSM is all natural. It's hypoallergenic, it's biodegradable, and again, it's cruelty-free. So like I said, it's just a win-win. If you're looking to switch up the product and the usage in your home and go all natural for cleaning products, all natural for particular types of pain management, I highly encourage using McAloy products. Again, you can find them at McAloyProducts.com and use that coupon code IndigoAngel, all lowercase, get 10% off your entire order, whatever you decide to try. And just tell them that Indy sent you and they will be sure to take good care of you. Thanks, guys, and have a beautiful everything. But yeah, what I wanted to continue to discuss with you, though, is I wanted to know, I know we just did that amazing clearing, so thank you so much for that clearing. That was absolutely beautiful. Like, we just went into a space there and created we merged our fields.
I know, I was like, I didn't expect that. I was just like kind of, running with it, going with it. And I thought, we need to do this more often off, whatever we do, separate healings together, whatever we do.
Yeah.
It's good. We can do other things later.
That's absolutely amazing because we actually flow off of each other very well and kind of can channel back and forth very well.
Yeah.
I want to know, do you have anything else on the 12 monkeys? Because I really would like to cover what you were talking about with the deception that we were coming to find out with the 12 monkey codes that are running.
Yes. So I did a little bit of research, and let's see. This is from the Queensland government, I guess the health government, Department of Health in Queensland, which is I guess that's Australia. So we'll just show you a little bit of this. Might not even say anything. I think the your audience could just kind of, put two and two together. So you can look at the two pictures. So let's show first on the right here. These are the 12 monkeys cases reported from the U.S. And it looks like, this is what it looks like. Looks like kind of welts and hives kind of thing. Okay, now this is, I won't even say anything. Just, can you read that?
Yeah, guys, look at the picture and just kind of read the words yourself. But in comparison, she's showing how there might be some deception in this new artificial reality that's been presenting itself in terms of what's connected to the fear timelines. And all of the deception that's playing out within that. So there's a lot of other potentials that are going on with that.
Yeah. I went to the, thanks for sending to me the CBC current list. And I went through that as well. But, my take on that is with the 12 monkeys is that people's immune systems are just compromised. And if you had several of the elixirs, you can actually develop something called AIDS. I'm saying it very slowly. I don't know if they'll pick it up or not, but you know what I'm saying. Yes. Back in the 80s, Freddie Mercury,
Yeah.
So
it seems like there's quite a bit going around with that. We have all these heightened cases of, I'm calling it space hepatitis. We have, what could potentially become the weakened immune system, and where you develop the HIV or the what you just spelled. And so that's kind of what's happening, is it's this suppression of the immune system. And that's why you said you feel that all of the debilitating side effects are stuff that people already pre-had, and it's just amplifying those symptoms. But in other cases, it's taking people into complete immuno breakdown, and that they're actually developing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they can't fight off a simple cold. A simple cold could take them out. They can go to the hospital, and then they'll be diagnosed with the, whatever. And then I don't know if they're saying what takes them out, and it's like a whole ripple effect. Then just because of that, they'll say you need a new cure or another cure, and that's going to be endless because everyone has they just have a weakened immune system. But they're going to say because of that, they'll attribute it to something like 12 monkeys or whatever else they make up now. It's just getting ridiculous. So that we just have to educate people, really. And with their Western allopathic medicine. Again, I'm fighting against the tide with that. It's really challenging when they say, my doctor said this, and I'm saying, and in a sense, I'm trying to say, your doctor's not exactly correct.
Yeah.
And there, but this is the medical establishment I'm going against. And it's like, it's really challenging for me as an acupuncture physician. You know, doctors are like God, and I'm like, oh, I'm down here. That's how we're looked at, sort of. So,
yeah. So what do you think let's say someone does get the cure, how long do you feel like it takes to actually thoroughly and fully detox that toxicity out of the body? Like if they go through certain regimens and protocols and take some of these supplements that you had suggestions for, how long would you say it takes them to actually be able to get their body back to normal?
It depends. It depends how compromised they already began with. It depends how healthy they were from the beginning. It could take from weeks to months, really. And it's not just using that supplement. There's using other, like the infrared sauna, NAET that I use. So many other ways to detox. It really depends.
Is the supplement that you're suggesting, can you not say the supplement out loud?
It's a fulvic acid. Actually, it's from the Root brand, but I'll give you the link to that so you can order it from me. Okay. And it's a supplement that is fulvic acid, pretty much. I mean, there's still a lot of fulvic acid supplements out there, but this one, Dr. Christina Ram, who created this supplement, she pretty much cured herself and her family of the big C. She did. And she's a pharmacist, but she went to she was on the dark side, now she's in the good side. And she's amazing, her supplements. So that's one of them I've used. And I've used pine needle tea, pine pollen, so many things you could do that I could put in.
What about NAC? Because I remember last time we spoke, you said that there's something going on with NAC. So can you explain to my audience what NAC is and why it's so important and what's going on with NAC at this time?
So NAC, it detoxifies your liver. So I have a little explanation of NAC and how it's just for liver detox. N-acetyl cysteine, I believe, is the
and I've taken this before, and I'm telling you guys, this stuff really works. Like, you really feel good after taking NAC. You can feel it detoxing yourself. It's amazing. And I feel like it works for the lungs too. I can feel my lungs. It can,
because it's detoxifying the liver. I mean, in a nutshell, NAC, N-acetylcysteine. So what it is that for some reason, you can't seem to buy it on Amazon any longer. I don't know why. But you could get it from certain supplement companies that carry it. I think Life Essentials carries. I think a whole bunch of other companies. Just find it on DuckDuckGo it. But it's interesting that with all the supplements that do help you detoxify your liver and help you, it's very interesting how Amazon doesn't carry it. Also, there's two that are pretty amazing. This is from Dr. Group. His company is Global Healing. And these are really great. This and zinc. And zinc, this helps drive the zinc into your system. Quercetin. I mean, you just get it online, Global Healing. I love Dr. Group. He's amazing. And then this is really good. This is, he carries it too. It's Detoxidine. And it detoxifies from radiation exposure. And it's for your thyroid health if you have a hard time with, if you get sick a lot, if you have been exposed to radiation, if you've been exposed to the Wi-Fi, EMF toxicity.
Yes. Also clay baths as well.
Oh, clay baths.
Clay baths are amazing for detoxifying EMF. I would say that's what I have found to be the most powerful.
It's incredible. I used to do a clay bath, but sometimes you can just do pure Epsom salts, because Epsom salts I usually just bless it and I put essential oils, but Epsom salts can help pull out the metals and relax you and helps with muscle cramps and spasms. It's amazing. And minerals. There's a really good mineral supplement that everyone needs. And again, this is longevity. I mean, I just use a mishmash of from all different companies. I have an account with Longevity, just plant minerals.
Yeah, guys. Really and minerals are so important because that's what's happening when you are exposed to EMF and radiation is you are depleting yourself of minerals. And so if you're feeling sick, honestly, that's probably one of the first things you want to check is, are your minerals depleted?
Exactly. And then get vitamin C and D3 and zinc. And if you live out, in the area that's very cold, you don't get sunlight, supplement with vitamin D3, so many things you could use. Yeah.
So, okay, I just want to ask you then, what would be your advice to the collective at this time, just overall regarding health, overall regarding how they should go about detoxify? I mean, I know we've covered that, but detoxifying from the cure, and just also maybe give like kind of some guidance to specific services if they were interested in maybe starting some of services with you. And I can go to your website as well, so we can kind of look at that again.
Yeah, that sounds good. Mm-hmm.
And so would they start maybe with a nutritional consultation? Would that be the best place to get started with?
That's just some recommended foods, have healthy fats. So what I think is when I do an initial consultation with someone, what I think would be great for someone to start with? This is really interesting. Let me get this out. Because this is from my intake form. I think this helps give people a clue. Oh, yeah, this is me, applied kinesiology muscle testing. Because the first thing I would do with someone is I would muscle test them after I've done the initial consultation and intake and went over their case history and background, what meds are they on, what traumas they've experienced, long-term medication use, physical trauma, surgeries, sprains, things of that nature. I would muscle test to find out what's the priority? What do we have to address first? So that's me just muscle testing. But if people are, and I did this with a few people, especially my tough cases who are pretty complicated, the best thing to start, if you really want to delve deep, if you wanted to also see me, this is the first thing you need to do is you need to fill out this sheet. And it's not on the website, which I need to try to figure out how to put it on my website. But I want to know from age 0, from birth until current age, list your significant illnesses, ailments, infections, diseases that you've experienced, like, ear infections or, whatever you had as a child. And then significant physical trauma, surgeries, falls, scars, broken bones, blah, blah, blah. Medications you've taken long-term, and then significant emotional trauma. Because that's my blueprint to where to start and what caused what and what triggered what. Then I would do, like with NAT, we can, energy medicine, that's a good one too. All of these things that you see listed here are what I use to help. These are just part of my tools in my little, I guess, quiver. If I have like, I call it my quiver or my arrows, like my tools, my weapons of choice of what I would use. I teach people energy medicine to, you can heal yourself. You can use and find Donna Eden and find out what points she uses for certain things, just like Kitty 27 or anything like that. And I use energy medicine as part of my protocol. NAET, herbs and supplements, the Genius Biofeedback, I sometimes use. Neuroemotional technique is really big. I mean, these are all the protocols that I use. It's not just one thing. I might be using 5 different things. The Genius Biofeedback, which I would look at people's, their chakra systems, their biofields. Like this really actually measures your frequencies of what's going on with you at this point and what is the root cause of your ailment, because sometimes you don't know. So this is an actual biofeedback tool. You can get it on your phone. You can just try it 14 days. There's a link you can click on, I think, and then you can just use it for 14 days. If it works, then you can just actually get it. But I also use it on my patients, You're measuring the person's energies, their auric layer, auric fields, their trauma bodies, free trial. And it gives you insight. It tells you what herbs you're missing, how's your hormones, are they balanced? It tells you a host of different things, goes into past life traumas. It's amazing, this biofeedback.
So does it provide a report to the client, but also to you, and then you can use that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it would provide I would do it for them so they wouldn't have to even use it. I would go and do the report and email it to them. And like, that's an example. I do screenshots of, how are your hormones doing? How's your liver? And what would you need to help balance your liver? Do you have liver toxicity? Do you have pathogens, viruses, bacteria, funguses? And what tones, like rife tones, would be used to balance that out, to bring it to 0 point neutrality, as they call it. It looks at everything. It looks at the archangels. Which ones do you need for help with?
Wow, that's really thorough. Okay.
It really is. It's like, there's a weight loss library that I've used. And what's the priority for your weight loss? What's the core elements? Oh, gotta look at the pancreas, sugar handling. Or do you, it's like your pocket doctor.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
I really like this. I'll have to give this a try.
You have to just click it. Yeah, 14 days free, Indy, for sure. I can help you with it too.
Okay.
Theta healing, don't use that as much, but it's there. NET I use a lot. Neuroemotional technique again. When did it happen? Like, what was the trigger? What happened when you were a child? And then IL muscle test. Okay, I don't know. I got to fix that on my website, but you can go further down. It's for stress. It's to figure out what happened when you were a kid, and was that why you came upon whatever. You have allergies, you have migraine headaches, you have whatever. It looks at your organs, it looks at the emotions attached to the organs, attached to.
That's really important. That's really
very important because say you had a lot of anger in your family. In Chinese medicine, liver and anger that's the emotion attached to the liver. So then you have to look at that and see, all right, how old was that? What was the situation? What do we have to clear? We have to acknowledge it and then release it and clear it out. And then we have to also maybe liver detox.
So what are the emotions per each organ? Can you give us a quick run through
liver's anger or frustration. The spleen, stomach is usually worry, like knots in the stomach. The kidneys are fear, like fear of anything from water, because the water element is kidneys, and that also opens up to the ear. So tinnitus could be related to kidney fear, tinnitus, something like that.
Okay.
Let's see. And also liver opens up to the eye. So if someone has a liver issue and then they have eye itching or twitching or something, look at the liver. Let's see, lungs are grief. Say you've had a lot of grief all of a sudden, and then you have a respiratory issue. The one example I like to give is when Christopher Reeves had passed. Remember him, Superman? And his wife had died shortly thereafter his death. She died from a rare lung disease or lung cancer, and she never smoked a day in her life. Lungs, grief. She died from grief.
Wow.
Can you imagine? So lungs is grief. Large intestine. Large intestine.
So if someone's a heavy smoker, it's because they're not processing their grief. They would be.
That's possible that they're. My husband is giving me sign language. No, well, lungs with the smoking, yes. If they're a drinker. How do you mean drinker? Explain yourself. That's liver toxicity. My husband's going back to liver, anger, toxicity, drinkers, angry liver. Yeah, we're going back to liver. Sorry. I just wanted to go through the rest of it. Lungs, smoker. Yeah, pretty much.
What about the heart? What about the heart? The heart is all emotions?
It's overjoy. Like someone who talks with their hands and they can't shut up, and they're like, oh my goodness, a great example. I have two patients like that. Like they're overgivers and they can't shut up, and not in a mean way, but they just can't. They're overgiving and they're oversympathetic and they're probably wanting to give, and maybe they're empaths. and they have uncontrollable laughter. They laugh at an inappropriate time. That's heart chakra out of balance, your heart out of balance. What was it? Did I miss anything? Lung, lungs, heart, spleen, stomach, liver, gallbladder, connected, worry, gallbladder, indecisiveness, lack of courage. Liver, gallbladder are paired together. Lung and large intestine are paired together. Large intestine not being able to let go. Constipation. Stomach, spleen, heart, lung. Yeah, bladder, kidney, fear of water, fear of something. Yeah. I mean, you just go on with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I can go on. There's so much, but
there is so much. Well, we'll have to save it for another show then, and we can maybe go in deeper into some of this topic, because I think it's absolutely fascinating to hear all the emotions and which organs they're associated to. I always make sure whenever I do like a deep universal tree of life clearing that I focus on bringing a lot of light into clearing the organs. I feel like that's so important, like the brain, the heart, the lungs, the kidneys, reproductive system, all of it. I think we forget sometimes that those are portal passageways themselves into all of your memories. Like they hold the most memory, and that they electrically, through subtle stimulation, exude that memory from one organ receiver to another. And so we talk about healing and clearing our chakras, but I think our organs are just, that's what the chakras, if you're getting Reiki and you're getting that one-on-one transmission with the healer, that's basically what that's for, is to regenerate your organs through that transfer of energy through chi. And it's really, really important. I think we focus on the organs and we forget about highlighting that detail in the spiritual community because we're so focused on chakras and our geometry. But yeah, the organs are like this underlying network that holds everything up.
They have souls. This is from Master Shan that I used to follow him. He's really good. Each organ has its own soul. And then you have to talk to your organs. Like I do Ho'oponopono, like to my liver. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. You can do Ho'oponopono to all your organs. And they heal it. And they hear it and they feel it. And they heal as a result of feeling that energy from you. Because if you're a person who has self-deprecating thoughts and you hate yourself, you hate your body, you're really, do your organs feel that? I was like that, that was so hung
And in
up
the
on
death
weight.
culture that we live in this death culture ran by death organizations. And that's what they promote is self-hatred.
Yes.
Constant self-hatred.
That's right. You have to love yourself first. Ho'oponopono. Exactly. So yeah, it's all related. Yeah. And the chakras, like, the sacral, the divine feminine is the sacral chakra, I would believe, but that's where your ovaries and your fallopian tubes are. Your solar plexus is your liver, your spleen, your pancreas, digestion. Yeah, it's all related, everything. That's why there's like not one thing that I would go to, just any channel. Right.
It's such a detailed evaluation. Each and every single person is such a unique thumbprint, blueprint, soul blueprint, according to their emotions, their spirituality, according to their past lives, their childhood memories, everything. So yeah, it's such a deep, like you said, peeling away of the onion.
The onion, exactly. That's why they have to do this chart. No one does this chart. I'm telling you, all those traditional acupuncturists that see me, they say I do the most in-depth intake because then they say they talk for 5 minutes and just start sticking needles in people. I'm not that type of an acupuncturist. I don't just stick a bunch of needles and cure you. It's not like allopathic. It's like you got to delve in deep and find out what happened to you. What was the emotional trauma? That's usually what you have to clear to resolve these long-standing issues. So you got to really dig deep and dive deep. Yeah. So that's why I'm very
it's so important. And I know that's why I brought you on my show today, is because I know that you are an amazing healer. You're a healer that gives it their all, and you go really, really deep. And I know that anybody that would come to work with you would be really receiving, a true healing package that would come from this. And so it's you're a naturopathic doctor, and that's so important to people know that they have those options to start pulling away from the mainstream money-making corporate machine that's basically feeding AI, feeding all of the pedodontia portals and things that we have going on. It's all just a machine. That's what the beast machines are inside of the earth. When we talk about these beast machines and we actually locate where they are in the earth energetically, everything's connected and funnels back down to these corporations. And that's the inner mechanics of it and how it feeds upon human blood, human spirit, human energy. Wow. And it trickles its way through profit up to the World Hypnotizing Organization, into the financial institution pockets of China. Okay, so pulling away from Western medicine and Western doctors going in and getting that antibiotic and that quick fix to try to cure something, which in some cases you do need an antibiotic. In some cases you do. But I mean, pulling away from that and really focusing on your health, your nutrition, detoxifying yourself, and looking towards those holistic healing practices that is really worth your money at the end of the day. Because like me and Dr. Rose just said, going to the core of that emotional and spiritual wounding, and then working its way out to those physical layers to try to find that true revelational, life-changing healing that's not just going to be a Band-Aid over your problem. It's going to actually take you into years of being able to fulfill your life where it makes sense to be here, where you want to be here.
Exactly. That's an ancestral karma too. That's what we're clearing. And I do ancestral karma clearing. I kind of do my own version of Akashic record clearings, and also telling people what would grandma do instead of an antibiotic. There's oregano oil. There's black seed oil. Like, I always give the alternative. So that's why there's always an alternative to the Western medication. Yes.
Yeah. And just remember, guys, it's going to take longer. You have to have more patience with it. Everything natural takes longer.
Yes.
It has to get in the system, and it has to work its way through your body and your energy. Again, so important, having a positive mindset, believing the highest outcome, being aligned to the highest outcome, your highest healing, your highest timeline, all of that. That's 5D Earth. That is 5D, and it is here now, and it is accessible to those who are ready to live on it and be a part of that. So just a reminder that, everything else is going on, and we just did cover some of that today, some of that wormhole, but that is the shadow realm, and we come down in it to observe it, but we don't have to live there. We absolutely do not.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh my goodness. This is amazing. Gosh.
Yeah, it was such a good chat with you today. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And if you have any last words that you would like to say today, or...
Yeah, please just stay grounded. If you feel, this is just free advice. Just when you feel overwhelmed and stressed out, please, it sounds so cliche, but it really works to go ground in Mother Nature, by a tree, or just walk in your grass, wherever you are, and just release whatever doesn't serve you. That's the best advice I could give anyone. If you don't have any money, you can't see, whatever it is, please go ground and just release and stay sovereign, and just learn, educate yourself about nutrition, about alternatives than, these Western drugs, do your own research and take responsibility for your health. I'm always teaching people how to fish, not give them a fish, you take ownership of your health. That's the best thing I could say. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Rose.
Thank you.
I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next show.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.